RPM Tonight welcomes you live to the Daytona International Speedway on the eve of two of the most exciting events in all of Speed Weeks, the Gatorade Twin 125-mile qualifiers. Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. Coming up on the big show, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Bodine, Jimmy Spencer join us, as do Kart's Jimmy Vassar and Alex Zanardi. But first, Wednesday afternoon, the NASCAR Winston Cup teams took part in the most important practice so far this Speed Weeks. And early in the morning session, a little tap there from Ward Burton to Joe Nemechek sends him spinning up against the wall, and Joe crashes that car very heavily. And you'll see it rolling in on the on the rollback there, and the car was damaged so much so that they would have to go to a backup car. Now we go to the afternoon session, and Nemechek with the backup car posted a speed of 189.314, a couple miles an hour faster than the original car. Now the fastest car in the afternoon practice was Jeremy Mayfield's. There we see Jeremy drafting behind Ernie Irvin. Mayfield 190.9, but actually everybody out there looked pretty much equal.
Seemed like it's a deal where we can run whatever speed with whoever we get with, you know, whether it's a good car or a bad car or whatever. It seems to be that's what speed you're going to run. So, you know, we're just thrashing away here a little bit.
A lot of people's having trouble right now, you know, loose feeling, and I think if they don't figure out anything, we're going to show them something tomorrow. What I like for it to happen is about 6 or 7 cars break away and me be in that deal and go and race.
We're in that danger zone area. I mean, we could possibly get in on our speed, but it's probably more of a chance that that speed won't hold up. I think we ended up 33rd overall in speed, so it's just kind of that danger area.
We check out some of the guys who might be in that danger zone if things don't go their way in Thursday's qualifying races. The owner points to based on last year's performances. Mast and Musgrave should be okay as far as provisionals go. Both Mike Wallace and David Green need good runs to make the field. Phil Weber says it's a delicate balance between coming here with a car capable of running fast in qualifying and also driving well under racing conditions.
All the crews have completed a week here. Now the speed part begins. 51 teams, 50 laps. Success requires a flawless blend of power and performance. The power part means the most motor you can get. Rusty Wallace loaded his rocket Wednesday morning after watching and learning some critical drafting lessons.
Sunday night, a couple hours after the clash, we sent a couple of motors back, made some changes to the one we'll run on the 125, probably found 2.5 more horsepower, and now it's here this morning. We ran it yesterday about this time, and guys working real hard and overnight and driving all night to get it back down here, and so we'll put it in today and get it ready for tomorrow's 125.
The performance part means bringing one car that can race like two, a quick qualifier that you can convert to one that's fast in the draft.
You change the attitude of the car, you put some rake in it, you lower the nose, put the stiff springs in the back, soften up the sway bars, get something comfortable where the driver isn't dragging the racetrack, beating the heck out of his butt from hitting so hard. Put some shock absorbers up under it that don't have a lot of rebound in them, that hold the car down when it hits bumps. So you end up bringing one car with two distinct personalities, and then you end up worrying about it if you've made the right decision all day Sunday.
For the slow, the Twins are a torture test. Go to the front or go home. For the swift, the Twins are an acid test. Will it fly, and can it turn?
Normally when we go to a track, you worry just about handling, but here, because aerodynamics plays such a big part, you want to find the best balance between getting the car lower so it goes fast and making it still drivable in the corner. So trying to tune for the proper spring and shock to get the maximum speed on the straightaway, yet still hold the car up in the corner. It's become tougher here in recent years than it ever has.
Speed Weeks means weeks searching for speed, and some Winston Cup teams allegedly found extra speed by grooving the holes in this carburetor base plate so it could slide ever so slightly, allowing a more free-flowing air path through these throttle plates to the restrictor plate. The benefits, maybe 3 to 6 horsepower, 2 or 3/10 of a second. Not illegal, but unapproved. 4 or 5 teams caught using this were told to lose it. Where did I get this one? I found it on the beach.
In years past, you know, many people overlooked Rusty Wallace as a favorite to win the Daytona 500, but this year appears to be a lot different. Rusty has one of the hottest cars here, and Rusty, I guess the obvious question, why the change? What's going on?
It's just a lot of work going on. We sat back, we started back in August building our restrictor plate motors. We've been in the wind tunnel down in Georgia a lot. We've been doing a lot of development work. Had no change whatsoever in the race team, no turnover, and really got a real focused team, a real organized team, and it's working great.
Now, we've been watching the guys out in the draft the last couple of days, and it looks fairly equal. Or do you think it is with everybody, or you guys, some of you people, holding back a little bit?
Well, there's nobody holding back, I don't think, and I think the draft is something that's going to be a key factor, no doubt about it. A lot of guys were concerned the cars didn't draft good in the Busch Clash, but heck, in the 125s in the Busch Clash, they never do make a lot of passing. I think when you get all the air stirred up out there, then you'll see a lot of passing going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in this morning's practice.
Now, what about the setup for this Sunday? Everybody says the longer the runs, the tires will give away, and it's who finds that perfect setup at the end of a long run who's going to run away from the pack.
Yeah, you know, usually I'm chasing handling down here, and I haven't had that problem much. I spent 3 solid days of testing down here in January just working on race setup stuff, and that helped a lot. Then I had the ability to run the Busch Clash and use that setup and start off in the 500 car with that setup, and it seems to be working good. Tire temps look good, and I can run her higher and low, and I've never been able to do that one before.
Now, you'll also look at pit crews. You've got one of the best pit crews around. How much help are they going to be on Sunday?
Well, on Sunday will be the key day. I think track position is going to be important. You're going to have to have a lot of horsepower and be able to stay up front, and track position, leaving the pit's going to be important. We've been practicing every other day, 2 to 3 times a week back at the shop. They feel like they're really prepared.
Now, it seems like every time you come down here or to a restrictor plate track with a good car, somebody nails you. I mean, is that just bad luck? Or
Well, I think if you're not running good enough, sometimes you create your own bad luck. And if you're not in the right place, then you might get in a wreck. And so hopefully I'll be ahead and running up in the front pack this time, where that won't happen.
Now, you normally win a lot of races during the season. Now, would you change or trade that, win just a few races and be consistent to win another championship, or do you like winning a third of the races?
Well, I like winning races, no doubt about that. I like to win the races and the championship. I think I've won 47, 48 races right now, and one year won 10 in a row, one year won 8, and won 6 of them last year. That still didn't get the points. So, but I like winning the races. I'm not just a points guy, just wants to go along and just get them and say, hey, that's what I've done. But if you can win the most races and get the points, you've really done something.
Well, as far as the championship hunt is concerned, there's 32 races this year. Number 1, Daytona 500. How important is that race on Sunday toward the overall picture for the year?
It's real important. It's 180 points, 185 points, any way you want to look at it. So I go into every race not looking at the money, I look at the points. Is it how much it's going to pay? It pays 185 in Martinsville, pays 185 here, so you got to run good everywhere. That's the reason we did so much work for Daytona and Talladega racetracks. We want to come out of the box here really going.
Now, you say a lot of work. Now, I'm told, what, you guys started on this car back in August, right?
We built 2 special cars. We started on back in August. NASCAR finally gave us our rules early enough this year that we can get going on them. So we built really probably 2 or 3 cars. I guess you could throw 3 cars in there, but 2 main cars that we've worked on that we decided on. One was an older style car. One of them was a brand new PC style chassis that we designed from the ground up, and that's the car ran in the Clash, and it handled perfect. And this is one of the older cars we've ran in the past, but it's been completely rebuilt. But a lot of wind tunnel time, but a lot of shock absorber development, a lot of engine development, and just all those things were key to making it go.
All right, well, thanks a lot for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Have a good time this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Later on RPM tonight, qualifying wraps up for the NASCAR Busch Series. We'll tell you who made the show. And 1986 Daytona 500 winner Jeff Bodine sits down to talk about the past, the present, and, of course, the future. Tuesday night, drivers from both the Busch and Winston Cup Series drove go-karts to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis. And look at Jeff Bodine. Started from the back, moves to the front very quickly, and Jeff easily wins the race. Jeff now joins us in the studio, and Jeff, looked like you got quite a jump on that one. They didn't black flag you, did they?
I hope it's that easy tomorrow and Sunday. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, raised a lot of money for St. Jude's, and that's the main purpose we were there. But we did have fun.
Now, you won the Daytona 500 in 1986. Was that the greatest moment in your racing career?
Well, really, it was you know, what I got into racing to do. I came here as a kid watching the Daytona 500, hanging out through the fence, looking at my favorite drivers, and said to my parents, someday I'm going to race in Daytona and win there. They all laughed at me, but so when I did win, it was like, gee, I accomplished everything, my goals that I set out to do. But then after you win once, you want to win some more, and that's why we're back here and trying to win again. I think we have a great chance this year with the QVC Ford. We made a lot of changes with the team, like a lot of teams have done. New management. Lee Morris is general manager of all my race teams. I have 2 truck teams plus the car team. I have a girl driving 1 truck, Tammy Jo Kirk, and Dave Rezende's driving. We have our own engine program, so I had a lot to do there, a lot to manage, and I couldn't do it. I was doing a terrible job at it. So Lee Morris is there from, he worked for Ford for 30 years. I have a new crew chief, Pat Trison, who is young, energetic, and really has brought a spark back to my team. We've changed some of the guys on the pit crew and our pit stops, who, like Rusty said, we've been practicing too, and our pit stops are going to be a lot better this year than they were last year. So a lot of great things going on with this team, and this team really is better prepared. It's a better team than it's ever been since I've owned this team. So we're real excited about Daytona plus the rest of the year.
Yeah, Rusty and I were talking about the draft and how we've been keeping a close eye on it. Watched you out there today. Car looks pretty strong, but whenever you're out there, what happens when you pull out? If you don't have somebody behind you, it's like, what, running into a wall or something?
You never know. I mean, drafting is really, it's a lot of fun, but you never really know what's going to happen. You can pull out, and if the air gets in the carburetor right and everything goes right, you might pass the guys that are in front of you, even if they're lined up. It can happen. It helps to get a little push, but you just don't know, and especially with these new air boxes, we're all kind of experimenting with that, with carburetors and the airflow into the carburetor, and sometimes you're surprised. It's like turbocharges the engine, and you just go on by.
Now, you've also got something going on this year with, you know, the Richard Petty car. A fan designed it. What's going on with your car now?
Your name gets around. We sent you a car with your name and the face, your face on it. It's a contest QVC came up with for their customers, and if you call in and register, say you want to register for the contest, the sweepstakes, you could be the person who gets their name put on the side of the car and their face actually on the hood of the car at Sears Point in Sonoma, and be out there with us, be part of the crew, and get on national TV.
We don't want to scare the fans and get them out of the stands. Well, I haven't seen that yet. I guess it's up at the office, but thanks a lot.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
We will talk to you later, okay, Jeff? When we come back, Mr. Excitement in the house, and it looks as if he's running well here at Daytona. Final round of the Busch Series qualifying. That's not Terry Labonte. It is Andy Hillenberg. He's out there. He's 2 miles an hour slower than Terry, but gets into the race on a provisional. One mishap. Mark Day blows an engine after he takes the checkered flag, spins out, and did a nice job of saving that car, but he did not qualify to race on Saturday. The fastest car of the day, Jeff Purvis. He could only improve one spot, though, in second-day qualifying, but he did it with the 10th overall quickest speed. He will start 26th. The Purvis had run that speed, of course, on Tuesday. As I said, he'd be starting way up near the front like he was last year. It's the same car, by the way, that sat on the pole last year. Kyle Petty starts 29th. Jeff Fuller still on his first-round qualifying speed and starts the race from the 32nd spot, while the defending Goodies Dash Series champ, Lyndon Amick, starts 37th. A total of 45 cars start Friday's Gargoyles 300. Now, Ron Barfield, who finished second in Sunday's ARCA race, was one of 7 drivers who failed to make the field.
Oh, it's very disappointing. I mean, this is one of the biggest races of the year for us, and like I say, it's kind of a shot in the arm a little bit to go home from this place, but hey, they run Rockingham next week, whether this place runs or not.
Jimmy Spencer picked up his first career NASCAR Winston Cup victory right here at the Daytona International Speedway in the summer race just a couple of years ago. But, Jimmy, what about the Daytona 500? How much tougher is it to win that race than the summer race?
I think you have to have a good car, John. I think it's one of the situations that July race versus February race, I think you have to handle a little bit better in July. But Daytona's a lot of handling, and the draft is very important, but handling's the key.
But what about right now? They're talking, everybody's telling me that handling is going to be the key this weekend, just as it is in the summer. So have you guys really concentrated on that in practice, or what's been the #1 focus this week?
I think the biggest focus for us has been the handling package. And, you know, it's one of the deals that the cool air box we've got now has really made the field pretty close. And I think that drafting right now is more critical than it's ever been in Winston Cup racing, especially at Daytona and Talladega. So it's going to be really interesting tomorrow in the Twins.
Well, watching you in the draft out there in practice, I mean, it looks like you got a very strong car. Saw you blow off a couple guys here. Here you got a great run on Loy Allen and Kenny Schrader.
The car's working really well, and I think that once you get 2 cars side by side like that right there, you can utilize the draft. They're making a really, really big hole, and you can just come right on by. And my car has really performed well. Donnie Wingo and the crew has worked really hard on this car, and they built 3 cars, and this is the best one. So hopefully it doesn't get tore up tomorrow, and we're in the race Sunday, but we would like to start up as far forward as we could.
You know, everybody calls you Mr. Excitement. I guess you like that nickname, right?
Yeah, it's made it for me. You know, I made the first one here in July awful exciting for myself and for the fans, and it'd be neat to do it again tomorrow in the Twins, and I think we have an opportunity to do that. We got really good cars in front of us. Dale, Jarrett, Ernie, and Jeff, and then I start right behind them. Then we got Mike Skinner and a bunch of good cars on the inside, so it'll be interesting, the first Twin, and I'm sure the drivers in the second one will be up on top of the trucks watching what happens.
You know, everybody tells me that patience is the key on Sunday, but you guys are race car drivers. You're born to go out there, hammer down, so how do you find the balance between patience and the racer's mind?
Well, that's tough, you know, but it's 500 miles, and there's 185 points, like Rusty Wallace had said. The Winston Cup Championship's the whole key. I mean, it pays over $1 million. There's not been a whole lot of Winston Cup champions, and I think that's what everybody's looking at. So, you know, they're saying, yeah, we'd like to win this Daytona 500. It's like any other race you want to win. But I think the key is to say, let's just finish in the top 10 as many times as we can. There's 32 Winston Cup races, and there's only one Winston Cup champion, and you need to do good in all 32 races.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by, Jimmy.
Tom.
We'll talk to you soon. Last year's dominant duo on the kart PPG circuit are taking their shots at IROC. Jimmy Vasser and Alex Zanardi are here when we come back.
Everyone's earnings combined last year were over $23 million, and I know that if you take me out of there, they're still over $22.75 million. Even though we set a record in Trans Am last year, it was still like $250,000. So in addition to the honor of being invited, I have a chance to double my annual take-home. So I'm excited about that possibility as well.
Yeah, aren't we all, Tommy? Here's how they'll line up around one of the International Racing Champions here at Daytona on Fridays. Zanardi and Earnhardt are on the front row. Vasser and Unser make up the last row. Last year's dynamic duo on the kart PPG Cup circuit is here, and Jimmy Vasser, you won the championship last year. That puts you in the IROC race. You've never driven a car with fenders on a racetrack before. How have you adjusted?
Well, so far so good. The cars are fairly easy to drive around by yourself, but we got a lot to learn on Friday. There's going to be 12 of us out there. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more difficult. You know, I wish I was starting a little farther up front. Part of me wishes that, but another part of me says, hey, maybe it'd be better off in the back to see what happens.
Well, your teammate Alex Zanardi, Rookie of the Year last year on the kart PPG Cup circuit. You're on the pole, and you had a funny line. What was it you were telling Earnhardt and those guys at the news conference today not to do to you at the start?
No, not to, you know, I had a lot of suggestions from all my friends, and they say you gotta pay attention to all these guys. They're gonna intimidate you, especially Dale Earnhardt. But I just said that they gotta pay attention to don't hurt me too badly when they go around me, you know.
Jimmy, how much help have the NASCAR guys been to you as you prepare to run the IROC race?
Well, I've had the most help from Jim Sauter and Dick Trickle and all the IROC guys that set up the cars. They've been a lot of help, and I haven't had a lot of running with the Winston Cup guys. I really had too much interaction between them. Robbie Gordon is trying to offer his opinion. I'm not sure how much help that is, but he's trying to help, and he's got some good ideas. So we'll see what happens on Friday.
Boy, you lost my train of thought right there. Alex, how about you? What kind of an adjustment has it been to you? And I saw you last week on Tuesday when they drove you around in a big Lincoln Town car, but now you're going a lot faster than that. How's it been?
Well, it's obviously not so easy, but you know, it's like for a skier, for a downhill skier to jump on a pair of cross-country ski and say, okay, you go for a race. It's completely different. No matter it's a pair of ski, you know, it's something different. This is the way it is for us. I think we're going to find out in the race whether we are good stock car drivers or not. So far, we had a lot of fun. I think I can talk also on Jimmy's behalf, and I look forward to the race.
Now, the second half of last season, you were on a tear, a big hot streak. Can you carry that momentum into this season?
Well, I really hope so, and I have to say that I start well, although I didn't deserve to be on pole. It's what it counts. I'm on the pole, and I hope I can keep this kind of results for the beginning and also hopefully for the end of the season.
Oh, what a pass there. Everybody told me not to get you started on that because you'd take all night telling me about it, but it should be a great season for you guys. Jimmy, you both tested down at Homestead, spring training, 1-2. You know, how can the team get any better?
Well, I mean, testing is just that. There's no points or prize money for that, so testing's been going well for us. We're number 1 and number 2 at spring training, and you know, we'll see what happens when the racing comes.
Now, do you see Alex as your closest competition as you try to defend your championship?
Well, obviously, Alex is with the finish he had last year. He's going to be very tough. But the thing about the PPG Cup Championship, you know, there's 10, 15 guys that have legitimate chances to be a contender every weekend, and you just got to take it one race at a time and see what happens in the championship.
What has Chip said to you guys about this year? Was it last year was great, let's do it again, something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
How about you, Alex? What do you think about this year on the kart circuit, your second year?
Well, I think Chip is really open with us. I mean, he knows that we both have a great chance to go for this title, and we're going to do our best. I think our strong point for the team was the collaboration between me and Jimmy. That's why we were very strong all the races. We helped each other a lot, and on Sunday afternoon it's really just up to us to make the difference, and this is what you can call sport, which is good.
All right, well, thanks a lot. I had a pleasure talking to you. I know last year I talked to you both via satellite. Nice to meet you in person.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Coming up on RPM tonight, we'll wrap everything up, but let's check out some of the Winston Cup practice speeds from the afternoon. Jeremy Mayfield, 190.9. Wally Dallenbach was also up there, 12th quickest. Rick Mast, 189.857. We welcome you back to RPM tonight with a look at more of the Goodies Dash grid. Robert Huffman will start 7th. Jake Hobgood, his father Will, is on the outside of the front row. He starts in the 9th position. Ricky Bryan 11th, and John Redmond will start 12th. A little bit further back, got George Crenshaw on the 14th spot. Dennis Setzer failed to make the Busch Series race. He starts 16th in Friday's Goodies Dash Series race. Of course, ESPN's live coverage of Speed Weeks 1997 wraps up this weekend. The NASCAR's Goodies Dash Series cars take the green flag shortly after 11 o'clock Friday morning on the classic ESPN. Then Saturday afternoon at 4:30, it's the final hour of practice before the Daytona 500. They call it Happy Hour. We will show you why, only on ESPN. It's less than 2 years old, but already the Metro-Dade Homestead Motorsports Complex is undergoing a facelift. Both NASCAR and kart competitors have complained that the track is just a little bit too tight. So they plan to add a couple of more degrees of banking, and they plan to reshape more than half of that racetrack. The renovation is estimated to cost around $6 million. Of course, they say estimate $6 million could cost 12. Work begins in mid-March and will be completed by the Busch Series race in November. Well, we are out of time. Thursday, we wrap up the twin qualifying races. Should be two of the most exciting events of all of Speed Weeks. And tell all your friends Friday night, an extended interview with Dale Earnhardt. 7 Eastern on the Deuce. We will see you then.